This podcast is brought to you by Most Valuable Podcasts, saving your day from boredom with the best podcasting entertainment.
What's up? Real MVPs, Ricky Widmer here, along with fellow Manchild, Johnny Karlic.
Who here hasn't been to space? Don't throw up in my ship.
I will try not to. And the one thing I will say I noticed, Johnny, last week we recorded on a Friday because Sunday was, what was Sunday? Easter was last Sunday. And the thing I noticed last Sunday is my intro was a little bit off from what it usually was. But I didn't say what's up, real MVPs. I know I said what's up, real MVPs. I didn't say fellow man-child Johnny Karlic. I just said I'm here with Johnny Karlic. And rewatching it, I was like, that just sounds weird. It sounds weird without the fellow man-child.
I'm here with Johnny Karlic. Hi.
Yeah, and it was this time I had to do it up. I had to go back to. I think it's a Sunday thing. Like Friday night, I'm not used to calling you the fellow man-child, although you are always the fellow man-child. But we are here, Rick and Johnny Podcast, where we're talking about TV, movies, basically entertainment, comics, superheroes, everything under the two nerdy suns. And before we get into everything today, first off, patreon.com/Most Valuable Podcast, link down below in the description is how you help us. Our big goal, getting a new studio. So every dollar we raise on Patreon this year goes towards that goal. We have a bronze, silver, and gold membership that gets you things like being on the podcast to talk about topics, picking podcast topics, and then also an exclusive podcast called the MVP Podcast a month early before everyone else. You get a graphic conversation a week early. This week's, for patrons only, will be Hellboy. Seed of Destruction, I want to say.
Sure.
Was volume 1, but episode 2 will be live for patrons this upcoming Friday. And then also cool things like access to the MVP Discord and cool shit like that. Number 2 is please go over to Apple Podcasts and iTunes. I know you guys have Apple IDs. Make sure to give the Rick and Johnny Podcast a 5-star rating. It really, 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 really helps us out and gets us into the ears of more people. But today, we're continuing an Avengers Endgame discussion that I will say spoilers for in the Endgame discussion. Just going to say it now. I'll probably say it again before we get into it. Then we're going to talk Dark Phoenix. There were reshoots, especially for the end. The complete climax of the movie was changed. And then number 3, a live-action Rugrats movie is in effect. It gets its director. Is it a good idea? We're going to talk about that to end the podcast. But Johnny, let's dive into our Avengers Endgame topic for this podcast. I will say it again. If you have not seen Endgame, please see Endgame first before watching this. This will be riddled with spoilers the whole way. You have been warned. And then number 2, if you haven't checked out our review of Endgame, check that out also. This is kind of a continuance of that. It's not a review, but it's a topic that I didn't want to put in the review, so we're doing it here on the podcast as its own standalone topic. But Johnny, we've got a ton of things to kind of go over with Endgame of how it affects some of the different MCU movies and Disney Plus series. The first one I want to look at, though, is I'll let you decide. Do you want to look at Guardians 3 first or Doctor Strange 2?
Since you're making me choose between 2, let's do Doctor Strange 2 first.
So here's the big thing with Doctor Strange 2 of why people think it's going to affect the movie coming forward.
Okay.
If it is happening after Endgame is all said and done, there's no more Time Stone. The Time Stone has been destroyed. That has been Doctor Strange's ultimate weapon in defending us from the forces of evil.
From Dormammu specifically.
What do you think this means, Endgame, because of that, means for Doctor Strange 2?
Shit.
Johnny's like, I didn't think about that.
No, I don't know, because, I mean, now he's got to find a new way to fight off Dormammu.
Do you think Dormammu comes back in Doctor Strange 2 then?
I think it's
or
gonna,
is he still stuck in a time loop even though the time stone is?
I don't think he's stuck. No, the only way he was going to be stuck in a time loop is because the time loop was going to be him kind of killing.
That's right. And then Doctor Strange says, "Leave, or I can do this all day."
He's like, "Leave, or I leave us in a time loop."
Yeah,
because this will keep happening.
So he left instead of being in that time.
Exactly.
loop.
It was either the time loop or you leave us.
But now Doctor Strange can't do that again.
Exactly. So he's going to have to definitely hone up on his skills as a master of the mystic arts.
Yeah.
And become the Sorcerer Supreme. Because I don't know if he's even... There's nothing that's in the movies that stated he is the Sorcerer Supreme yet.
The only thing we know is that in Endgame, the Ancient One told Bruce he's supposed to be the
best of them all.
The best of them all. Which he had... No, he has... In Infinity War, he's called himself the Sorcerer Supreme.
Did he?
But I don't know if he's just saying that as a title, or if he is truly the Sorcerer Supreme. You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
Like, you can say, hey, I'm the Sorcerer Supreme.
Yeah, I don't know if he has, like, the official title. I know he's called himself that, but...
Has he reached his final form is basically what we're saying.
Exactly. So, I mean, I guess this will be, like, a whole getting to that point. And, I mean, it might be more of a Mordo going up against Mordo.
Well, he was teased at the end of Doctor Strange 1.
Stealing magic from other magic users.
Yeah, and I mean, that's the big thing with Doctor Strange, though, is with the Time Stone. What other tricks is he going to have up his sleeve? Like, what could be the big crutch now that the Infinity Stones are gone?
He doesn't have his easy out, so he's probably got to hone up on, like I said, he's got to hone up on all his other magics. He's going to have to, like, actually go and have true magic talent to get himself out of this one.
Yeah, and
that's the biggest part.
I can whoop, and it's gone.
Exactly. He can't just do that now. He's actually got to, like, put up a full-on fight. He's going to have to... I wonder if there's maybe going to be I wonder if possibly a team up with Mordo, because she kind of stated, you two balance each other. And he's...
Go ahead.
So what if, like, this is the... Hey, he's got... Like, maybe this is a movie where he's trying to track down Mordo because he's...
Trying to bring him to the good side, basically.
Maybe either bring him back or just bring him in at least and go, because he's stealing magic from people, like he's stealing other people's magic to overall their ability to use it.
Yeah,
like the one guy was using it to function.
Yeah, the guy that we saw in the
Doctor Strange 1,
where it was like he was using it to function, and people were like, "Holy shit! How did you
heal
so fast?"
It's like, I didn't heal.
That's why he healed, was because he was using magic. Just to be able to walk and play basketball again.
Exactly. So it's like, well, he steals it, and maybe like Doctor Strange is hearing some of this stuff and going, well, okay, we need to figure out what's going on because these guys use magic. All of a sudden, they're back to whatever problems they had before. And then like that's the overarching one, and all of a sudden, some underlying part of it with Dormammu is coming about, and all in all, it ends up being, hey, you and I are not going to see eye to eye. We are enemies, but we have to team up to at least kick Dormammu out for the time being.
And the thing I'm looking at, too, is one of the things, of course, this is from a little bit over a year ago. This is from the end of March, beginning of April of 2018. But it's still relevant to the Doctor Strange discussion is... So, C. Robert Cargill, who wrote Doctor Strange with Scott Dickerson, he spoke a year ago in a Q&A following a screening of the movie in Austin, Texas. So this was right around the time Doctor Strange was coming up. During the Q&A, and I'm getting this from MovieWeb.com, during the Q&A, Cargill spoke a bit about where they want to go in Doctor Strange 2, and says Nightmare will be a villain. I did forget
about Nightmare.
Nightmare is one of the major foes of Stephen Strange in the world of Marvel Comics. And according to Cargill, he and Dickerson are committed to bringing him into the fold if they get to make a sequel, which now we know the sequel is coming. Some other quotes that they have from him are, Marvel movies work in threes. They also work outside of their threes. Some of the better Marvel films have more than one villain in them. Me and Scott have not laid the groundwork for it, but what I can say is that I have a feeling that whatever Nightmare is involved with, Baron Mordo, being somebody who considers himself the defender of natural law, will have something to do with it. He also said, for those of you who have ever read the comics, you know that Baron Mordo has a very particular arc, and that's something we discussed to Chiwetti, who is the guy who played Mordo in Doctor Strange 1, while working on the first movie. And part of the reason he wanted to play Mordo was because he has a definitive ending as a character. And it's such a fascinating ending. And I do know that whether we're attached or not, that Marvel plans on working towards that ending and fully realizing Mordo as more than just a cardboard cutout villain, but actually taking him to kind of a Loki level of awesomeness. That's the goal with him. So really, I know this is over a year, a little bit over a year old, but could that still be the plan after Endgame to have kind of a Mordo Nightmare kind of a situation going on with Doctor Strange?
It could be that. I was also looking up other villains. That Mordo, one of them apparently is Lady Death. That one I didn't think would be.
I don't think they'll do it
like
because they didn't do that with Thanos.
No, they didn't. But Mephisto is one.
Yes.
And here's one that'd be cool because it could be another crossover with Thor and Doctor Strange. Enchantress.
Ooh,
that would be cool because they're talking Thor 4. So
yeah,
Hemsworth is still in the universe.
We'll get to Thor though.
I know
Thor might have a big part in a different movie.
I know, but what I'm saying is Thor could have like cameo in this one somehow or something, because what Hemsworth, an article I read the caption for, I didn't get to read yet.
Kind of
they have so far. They have that magic bond.
Yeah.
That kind of
because Doctor Strange
drives their movies over together.
Because Doctor Strange cameoed in
Thor Ragnarok. But what I'm saying is Thor could cameo in it, or they could have like the kind of Hulk Thor team up where it's not until halfway through the movie. But excuse me.
It's all that Mountain Dew.
It is all that Mountain Dew.
Johnny's like, I drank a full Mountain Dew during the Endgame review, and now I am gassy. Pardon me.
No, is where was I going with that now?
You were going with
Hemsworth.
Yeah.
I didn't read the article yet, but I saved it. I read the beginnings. Like he said, and this was a recent article now, that he will play Thor until the MCU kicks him out. So we'll get as much Thor as they're willing to do. So like Thor cameos, there's Tessa Thompson promoting or pitching, that's what I was looking for, a Thor 4 film, is she not?
Yes.
So
yeah, from what Tessa Thompson, and I said this last week, I'll have to pull it up again. It was a Screen Rant article. Yeah, because now everyone is talking about, because the first thing was Tessa Thompson said that Taika Waititi is on to direct and write Thor 4. Don't know when it's going to happen, but she kind of threw that little Easter egg out there. Now the big thing is Thor is, well, is he going to be in Guardians 3?
Yeah,
after what we saw
as well.
But let's put a bow on this Doctor Strange before we move into Guardians 3. The big thing with Baron Mordo that I like, or Modo, that I like with this is the kind of character arc they talk about, because we kind of gotten, so like he's already done his tutelage. The Doctor Strange part of his arc, we already went through with that. The only thing I'm kind of stuck on is, have we seen the Dormammu part? Was that the ending of Doctor Strange? Where here it says Dormammu also employed Mordo as a pawn to try and enter Earth. He sent Mordo and his minions to attack the Ancient One. That was not like they did that, but it wasn't Mordo. It was
Caecilius.
Yes, like they changed who it was. Like that would still be considered Doctor Strange 1. Am I correct?
Yes.
The other thing that I kind of think of is, could we get a point where Mordo, wow, why is that so hard for me to say?
I have no idea.
Is working with Nightmare, and there is a part in the comics where Mordo took over the identity of Doctor Strange when the original was powerless during the battle at the Sanctum. Here's what I'm throwing out. What if this takes place? It starts off taking place during Endgame, like during the 5-year absence of Doctor Strange, where, and this is how you play it in, how the Avengers don't know about this because there's so many less people. What if Mordo impersonates Doctor Strange a little bit here, a little bit there, just for when he needs to? Like, not like, hey, I'm going to make a big spectacle, draw eyes on me, but like impersonates Doctor Strange to do stuff during that time. Then Doctor Strange comes back after the Battle of Thanos and then has to deal with Mordo and Nightmare. Of like, great, I have to deal with them without the Time Stone.
Yeah, maybe it's starts off as a story of him keeping natural law, kind of somehow stumbles upon Nightmare.
Yeah.
Makes a deal with him. Say, for whatever. Maybe it's like as soon as he finds out Doctor Strange is back.
Yeah.
He stumbles upon Nightmare, makes a deal with him, saying, help me get rid of this guy who fights natural law.
Yeah.
Fights against natural law, not knowing that the Time Stone is gone.
Because he still would think that, hey, he's got the Time Stone.
Exactly. Until whenever he finds out or something. But still, he's like, you've broken natural law. This is done and over with. It is what it is. You've done it now. One I found interesting, another villain he has, and not that they would do it, but it would. Dracula is one of his villains.
Yes.
And that would introduce Blade.
About that. Yes, it would. Because they do want to do
a Blade movie.
Well, they want
Reboot.
to do a Blade movie, but they also have, and this is the interesting thing, so they have the deal with Sony for Spider-Man, right?
Yeah.
The question I throw out with that is, if Marvel wants to do Blade, if the Morbius movie does well, do Sony and Marvel come up with another bond of like, hey, we're going to do another partnership. We're going to do a Blade movie, and Blade is hunting Morbius.
They could probably do that eventually, but they have to like introduce them. And this wouldn't be a bad way to go about it.
Because let me see really
Even
quick.
if like you introduce Dracula in like the first third of the movie and make that like the arc and just like have it like him mention Blade. So, hey, Blade's in the universe now, guys.
Yeah. Let me see really quick. So Blade film. Let's see. Yeah, New Line Cinema was the one but that was years old.
Yeah, it's old.
The only thing I wonder with it, and it depends on if the rights have changed at all. Let's see, New Line Cinema. Yeah, but is New Line Cinema under the Sony brand is what I'm wondering, or are they their own thing? Nope. New Line Cinema was a property of Warner Brothers, which I don't think Warner Brothers has the rights to Blade anymore. The question that I would have with it is because I think it was, what movie was it? I think it was Blade 2. They did a reference, or was it Blade Trinity? One of the ones at the end, they were originally going to do a reference to Morbius and have him be the villain. Was because at the end of the movie, they're on like the roof, and it was originally supposed to be he looks across like to another roof, and Morbius is standing there. And then like, boom, Morbius is gone. Kind of like that's the next baddie for Blade to go after. So that's why I bring up the maybe like that's a Sony thing, but I don't know. I don't know if Blade is under the Marvel umbrella or the Sony umbrella is basically
I think
what I'm
it's
saying.
Marvel, because I thought Marvel was talking about rebooting it.
I think so. I think you might be right. But half the time I'm wrong about all these kind of links to everything. Let's see.
Because like we talked about in the Endgame review, we do need some fresh blood anyways, especially if you want to do like any storyline in that 5 years.
Because Cap is gone, obviously. Endgame, we didn't really talk about that, but Old Man Cap.
Old Man Cap, Tony's gone, and so is Widow.
Yeah. So we do need some new blood. Doctor Strange would be one of them to kind of, he's now kind of like the Tony Stark resident, the older guy, like the older man in the room, kind of, with all the young kids.
Goatee bros.
Yeah, basically goatee bros. Anything you think that we need to do with Doctor Strange 2 before we move on? No, we can move on to
someone else.
So Guardians is the big one. And the reason why it is the big one is the end of Endgame. We have a new cast. Gamora's still not there. Peter Quill obviously wants to search for her, is using the computer to try to see if she is somewhere.
Somewhere he can try and get her back.
Thor is now on the ship, so now it is Drax, Groot, Rocket, Mantis, Thor, and Peter Quill.
Yes.
My first question for you is, how much of a role does Thor play in Guardians, and are they only putting Thor in Guardians so that the Guardians have a fighting chance against Adam Warlock when he hatches?
I think that would be a good way of going about it. Thor would give them the edge, and maybe like not the edge, but enough to fight back.
Yeah, so that they're not just decimated once Adam Warlock becomes
exactly, because
hatched.
they have a powerhouse to fight what he's supposed to be.
Yeah.
So that would be a good way to go about it, and maybe this would be like, maybe the fight with Adam Warlock, and maybe obviously you and I have talked about this before. There's going to be a turnaround at some point. Adam Warlock's going to want to join the team instead.
Yeah.
And maybe it'll be that he's going to help them get Gamora back, or he's going to say, I know how we can get Gamora back.
Here's the thing
for you.
And I want to ask you this.
And then that would set Thor onto a new path of, I'm going to leave the team then and go do my own thing.
And then he branches off into Thor 4.
Exactly.
Here's the question I want to ask you, though, is, so Peter Quill searching for Gamora at the end of Endgame, I feel is saying that Gamora's not going to be forgotten. Like, it's not like, oh, she's dead and we're never going to see Gamora ever again. My question is, because in the comics, Adam Warlock has a strong connection to the Soul Stone.
Yeah.
And also in the comics, Adam Warlock, like in Infinity Gauntlet, which we read, it was Adam Warlock, Gamora, and Pip the Troll traveling together. So does Marvel play that and say, okay, one, Adam Warlock, although he doesn't have the stone because the stone is dead, still has the power to communicate with the soul world? Like, because the soul world is still there.
What if they have to search out Pip the Troll in order to do that? That way you kind of got the roundabout. Because Marvel tends to like to do stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like, they introduced Eitri, even though we never had hell or high water of him, except for the fact that it was... The hammer was made from the heart of a dying star. That's the most we got in any other movie.
Because my question I was going to ask is, do you think in Guardians 3, let's say, I don't know I don't know how we get to it, but I know the storyboard lineup of basically Adam Warlock has some connection to the soul world. Because of that, can bring Gamora back to the world of the living. However, he brings her back as like an evil Gamora that's on his side. So like it's a Guardians have to basically, while fighting Adam Warlock, you get that kind of psychological mess up with Peter of like, I don't want to hurt you, but I can't because you're under some type, it's almost like a brainwashing thing or like a mind control of like, you're Gamora, but you're not the Gamora I remember kind of a thing. But you're not even the Gamora from 2014. I don't want to hurt you, but I'm in a fight with you, and I might die if I don't.
What if this instead, like the first act is whatever they're doing, and then introduce Adam Warlock. Second act is kind of the fight with Adam Warlock.
The first fight with Adam Warlock.
First fight with Adam Warlock.
Because he might kick their ass the first
That'd
time.
be like between Act 1 and 2 is where he kicks their ass. Then Act 3 or 2 is kind of like always that in between of making the plan. We need the extra whatever oomph.
Yeah.
They do whatever they need to do. And then
Thor gets a third weapon.
He gets the belt.
Yeah, he gets the belt. Which I will say, I forgot to say this during the Endgame review. We did have a commenter on our final predictions say that the belt was mentioned in Spider-Man Homecoming.
Was it really?
Yes, because remember...
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
They were packing everything up. Oh, and Cap's new shield. Oh, and that Thor's belt. Like, he tries to say it. Thor's belt. So it was mentioned.
I forgot about
Tony's
that.
got it somewhere.
Yeah.
But Tony's dead now.
Tony had it
He's
somewhere.
got it somewhere. I don't know where all that shit went.
Tony doesn't have anything anymore.
Yeah, well, he had it. Now Morgan has it. Well, Pepper has it until Morgan grows up, then it becomes Morgan's.
Happy probably knows where it's at.
Probably. Exactly. Yeah, Happy knows where it's at. So they could, like, the belt is there.
Yeah, it's in the universe. I forgot about that.
And I'm going to look up while you're talking who exactly so I can give them some love for commenting that.
What I was saying. So it's going to be like Act 2 is going to be the whatever they need to do to beat Adam Warlock, or in this case, it's going to be like something that kind of flips it, and like because in between Act 2 and 3, and then Act would be kind of the second fight with Adam Warlock, and then ending it where Adam Warlock turns to their side, sort of.
Zyan Floss. Foss. It's Zyan Foss, Foss.
So Zyan Foss?
Zyan Foss. He was the one that said...
Well, thank you for that. I forgot.
They talk about the belt in Homecoming, so it's probably already in the Avengers base, and Thor just doesn't know because he has been in space for so long. That's what he said. And I saw that, and I was like, that's a good point.
Well, thank you. I forgot about that.
But... Go ahead with what you just said again.
So, like, the third act would be kind of combination of, hey, we're going to have our second fight with Adam Warlock and kind of start tying loose ends, have Adam maybe turn on what was the Sovereign?
Yes. You almost said the Ancient One because that's what I was thinking.
I didn't say the Ancient One. I just couldn't remember what they were called.
Oh, the Ancient One? And I'm like, nope, that's Doctor Strange.
Nope, he's going to probably turn on the Sovereign and whatever other villain whatever villain they decide to throw in there as well, maybe, to be the overarching villain.
Yeah. Because, I mean, it was... Guardians 1 was Ronan. Ronan, but Thanos being the puppet master.
Yeah.
Then in number 2, it was Peter's dad, Ego the Living Planet.
But also the Sovereign. Yeah.
Because they were at the beginning, and then obviously that's what they used for the... Well, yeah, they also had the plane battle where they all died.
Arcade.
The arcade. And then they... For this one... I'm trying to think. Do we know who the villain's going to be? Or?
I've heard nothing about that yet. I know it's going to be what it seems like it's going to be a search for Gamora.
Yes.
It's going to be because for all we know, I don't know if there's a Thor Guardians crossover villain.
There could be. The thing
I feel like it's obviously got it. So it's going to have a Sovereign Adam Warlock tie-in. It's going to be a search for Gamora, and then I should probably have been looking these up.
The thing that I just want to throw you this question, and this has been going on in my head while we've been talking about this. If they find a way to bring Gamora back in whatever way because of Adam Warlock, are you going to be upset in a way? Because it's like, really? Like, so we're just erasing what Thanos did to Gamora. We're erasing then maybe the sacrifice that Nat made, because that means that Nat could possibly be brought back. Would you rather it be Peter Quill finds out that Gamora is gone and there's no way of getting her back? Or do you want her to be brought back in some way because of Adam Warlock's connection to the Soul World?
I almost kind of want that. I wanted to like make it like a how do I put this? Maybe they have to, like I said earlier, maybe seek out Pip the Troll at some point in the movie to help them do that. And because I want Thor to be there to, if he sees that Gamora gets brought back because she was taken into the Soul Stone, he's gonna maybe think, I could bring Nat back. I could bring everyone that got decimated. Maybe even bring everyone that got decimated back.
There's also going to be the Inhumans movie that happens before this.
Yes.
Which we did technically see. Did we technically see a version of the Inhumans in Guardians 1 with the big, tall, purple thing with the huge mace?
Those aren't the Inhumans. Those are the
Celestials.
The Eternals. The Eternals,
that's
I think that's
thinking.
one of them, yeah.
Like, because that movie is going to happen before Guardians 3. Because Guardians 3 is like, what, 2023 we're thinking?
Yeah, and here's another one I forgot that could be a villain towards the Guardians.
Go ahead.
Any Eternal or Celestial.
Basically, that's why I'm saying like the
I'm
Eternals
saying
movie
more so Celestials because it's going to be like Celestial. Some of them might just see it as them as Celestial killers, and just go, we can't have this.
Yeah. Let's see, Adam Warlock. I'm looking right now at like the thing of like rumors that we hope is true and rumors that we hope are not. One of them is obviously Adam Warlock having a new role. I got an interesting question for you, and this is because of this. Does Marvel at that point, because this movie would be 2022, 2023 after James Gunn is done with Suicide Squad, could they introduce the Fantastic Four with this movie? Or is that way too much for one movie? Or is this just the, hey, it's number 3, let's fucking just end the arc with these characters.
Focus on the Guardians.
Because their arc is basically, it was not tied down after Endgame. Like, it was one of those still left open because obviously we have Guardians 3 coming up.
Yeah, no, I say maybe not necessarily end it. You can always like tweak the lineup, and maybe that's why you don't bring Gamora back. Maybe someone else, someone steps away and someone dies. Or 2 people step away and you have like Adam Warlock and you can bring in Cosmo because he's there now. He's in the universe, and not Moon Knight. I'm trying to think of Moondragon? Was it? Yeah, Moondragon is another Guardians of the Galaxy member. I could look it up real quick, make sure I got that right.
Look it up. Let's see. I think you might be. Yep, you're right. Affiliations: Infinity Watch, Avengers, Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh, we have Mantis still. It says Beta Ray Bill joins at one point.
Which they have teased Beta Ray Bill.
They did at
joining the universe. We already know he's in the universe because of Thor Ragnarok.
Yes, we saw him on the.
He was one of the champions.
Thank you. But yeah, I mean, so you can have a few of them stay in it. You can maybe like hand it over to Starhawk.
Yeah, I do think
Alita Orgo was also introduced, but you can throw in a Moondragon.
I'm gonna make this prediction for Guardians 3.
Okay.
I don't know if Rocket and Groot leave.
I think they stay.
But I think that for sure Quill is done, Drax is done, Gamora's done after 3. Gamora, if she's even in 3, like if she comes back from the Soul World, is done after. Because Peter Quill's is interesting because I don't know if Chris Pratt is one of like, hey, I'm done after 3. But with Drax, I do think that Batista might be done because we're seeing him do like he's doing other movies now. It's not just the Marvel movies.
He's starting to slip into other movies and starting to do more and more of those. So he might want to step out and like, hey, I want to do other movies for a while.
Basically, how do you become The Rock? You don't stay typecast into one character
exactly
for your entire career. Marvel was basically his stepping stone to becoming the actor that he is. Because I think he's going to be in the new Dune movie.
That's what I heard,
not mistaken. But like we see him in movies like Stuber that's coming out this year. Also that movie that we saw where he's a CIA spy. And
yeah, I forgot what it was called too.
I forgot that one, but like Stuber was the one with him in the Uber driver. But that's why I think he's not going to be there. And
Dopinder, right?
Yes. Okay. And that's why if Gamora if Peter leaves, Gamora's done because like there's no.
I almost want to see Gamora come back just to
be with Quill,
just to drive a story for Thor now, Thor 4.
Okay.
Because it's like Thor. I feel like that would set up in Thor's head. If they can bring Gamora back, I can bring my people back. I can bring Asgard and I can bring my people and maybe even Asgard back.
Do you think Adam Warlock takes over the Guardians at the end of this?
Maybe. Because you'll still have Mantis. I think Mantis might stay and
Rocket
so will
and Groot.
Yeah. Because Rocket, that's his family.
Yeah.
He's not going to leave, and Groot's going to stay with Rocket.
Yeah.
I think Mantis really has nowhere to go now. So you have Adam Warlock step in and maybe bring in Cosmo. Maybe they pick him up at some point.
Because he's in the universe.
He's in the universe. He is also a Guardians member at some point or another. And then maybe somehow introduce a Moondragon or someone else just to kind of tie it all together.
One of the last...
I keep saying Moondragon. I know there's other characters, but she's the one that I'd like to see.
So I've got two things I want to throw out now.
Okay.
So we're putting Guardians away. I've got one more movie I want to unpack because Spider-Man Homecoming... that's not one where that one's so far in post-production where it's like I kind of feel like that was planned with Endgame, where it's kind of like the tag to Endgame.
Yeah. This is its after credit scene.
Basically. Here's the last movie I want to mention. Black Panther 2.
Yes.
The question I want to throw out to you is because Okoye is the one to have the conversation with Nat about the earthquake, and Nat's obviously dead. Do we see in Black Panther 2 a Namor crossover? Do we see a battle between Black Panther and Namor?
I think that would be a fantastic way to introduce Namor. Bringing him into the universe, because they do have a little spat with each other throughout some of the comics, from what I remember.
And what you could do, and this is why I want to see that. So Mark and I read Avengers versus X-Men for a graphic conversation.
Yeah.
And I'm going to throw it out again because I got to give him his props. It was a fan recommendation. Okay. I want to give him his props here on the podcast. That was Addison.
Excuse me.
At a underscore OUELLETTE 31. But Addison was the one that last year was like, hey, you guys should read Avengers versus X-Men. So we read it. And spoilers for that, by the way. So if you want to read it, pause, come back to it. But I'm going to spoil Avengers versus X-Men right now to make my point. But in that, before that happens in the comics, they reference that Namor and Black Panther have a history. Also, you know what they could do now? They could introduce Storm before she becomes an X-Men, because guess who marries Storm in the comics?
Black Panther.
Black Panther. They could do that whole storyline if they want to, too.
Bring that around first.
The thing I like about having Namor and Black Panther go at it in a Black Panther 2, if they can get the rights to Namor, because I think Namor is either Universal or... I think he's Universal. I think we decided.
It'd be like in it from Hulk, because I know he was Universal at first.
That's right. I thought that's what we determined when we talked about it last.
I think that's one of the reasons they aren't doing solo Hulk films anymore.
Exactly. But if they can get Namor, do him with Black Panther, because then I'm really on board for the next crossover movie to be X-Men vs. Avengers, because in that movie, Namor, because the Phoenix comes back and kind of possesses some of the X-Men. There's like 6 of them that it possesses. One of them is Namor. And what does Namor do with the power of the Phoenix? Just destroys Wakanda. Lays waste to Wakanda. To where it's like, it was like on. And he just demolished the entire city, the entire place of Wakanda. And if they did a Black Panther 2, already having that precedent, that could just build in an Avengers X-Men kind of movie.
Yeah.
That makes me do that in Black Panther 2 so we can get Avengers versus X-Men, because I was already on that board when they got the Fox Disney deal done.
The only other thing I would want to see is what is it? Let me look it up real quick. I feel like I always mess his name up.
Is it a Black Panther villain?
Yeah. Why aren't you showing me?
It does not.
Give me his damn name. It's one of the main villains that I know of for him. Anyways, I'll click on this for now. So I think the intro should be sort of a little spat, like first. Make that like the main thing, but make like the first one the little spat between him and I believe goes by. Of course, they're not going to show me the name again. Where the hell is it? But M'Baku. White Ape, I think it goes by. M'Baku. And I feel like that would be because, like, he should, like, oh, God, how do I say this? That should be, like, because he's probably, I feel like he's the one that's had to run Wakanda. Well, now it's been 5 years since T'Challa's been gone. So he's probably gotten used to being in charge and whatever he's needed. And that's going to be the...
Keep going. Then I've got a kind of realization. Yeah,
no. So that would be like hey, no, I'm in charge now. You've been gone for 5 years. I'm now king of Wakanda and I'm not letting you turn it back to something else.
So, question.
No, go ahead.
So you know how this is in the Endgame review? We talked about this.
I may have Man Ape.
No, did we talk about this, or did we talk about this in this segment? I can't remember. But the Fantastic Four. Did I bring them up in this segment or the Endgame?
I think Endgame.
I think in this one.
No, did you?
Did I?
Endgame. I think you brought up in it. I thought it was an Endgame.
Okay. So basically my thought process...
You brought up in Guardians too.
Yes.
As well.
That's right. And then we went on the tangent of... No, it was Endgame because I thought of like the pre-snap kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then we brought up they could...
have been in space
and not affected by it. But then they would have been affected by it.
But maybe not the four of them. Like I said, add 2 people into the ship and have them get snapped away.
Going on with that.
Yeah.
Take that thought. During that 5 years of the snap, Von Doom makes it to Earth, and they don't. If that happens, he builds up his what nation is he in?
I almost said Sokovia. Latveria, yeah.
Boom, that could be a villain. They could introduce a Doctor Doom without having to do the Fantastic Four kind of story of like, hey, neighboring country. What the hell is this? Never heard of them before. Oh, wait. It's fucking...
Latveria would be kind of Europe, though.
Would it?
Not Wakanda. Not in Africa.
I mean, the thing... Because here, the article that I'm looking at...
they can put wherever they want, but
says, I feel like... Dr. Doom has been king of the nation of Latveria, a cruel and proud monarch whose pride is only matched by his hunger for power. Doom is a matter of science and sorcery and will do anything to prove himself superior to any foe. Can you picture what would happen if we got a cinematic war between Wakanda and Latveria? Doombots versus the army of Wakanda, Doom versus T'Challa in a struggle for freedom. Wakanda has never been invaded as it has always been hidden from the yoke of European imperialism, but Wakanda has never met Doom. And this is me going on my own thing. What did Black Panther do after Black Panther opened up Wakanda to the world? So now that it's opened up into the world, that means it's open up to invasion as well.
That's true.
The other 2 that I wanted to throw out there that I do like from this article I'm looking at is the first one is White Wolf. I think that would be a cool one because it kind of plays a little bit... I mean, the name had already been given to Bucky in like what it says here.
Yeah, you think I was going to say
the name has already been given to Bucky, but perhaps there was another White Wolf before Shuri healed Bucky, an angry and weary White Wolf ready to return to protect his sudden vulnerable nation now that Wakanda has revealed itself. And the other one, Baron Zemo. He didn't die.
That's true. He's still
T'Challa
alive.
said you were going to pay for your crimes. What if he never paid for them? And now he's back for vengeance against T'Challa.
It could be that. I have another one for you, and this
Go
kind of
ahead.
plays back into the Namor one, and could actually set up like a battle between Atlantis and
Wakanda.
Atuma.
Yes.
So like maybe Atuma's kind of like manipulating Namor, and like that's why you got the shift in the plate. That was something else going on.
It wasn't just an earthquake.
It wasn't just an earthquake. It was like the start of an attack of some sort. And Atuma is manipulating because he hates the surface dwellers.
Yeah.
And he also knows maybe that, like, obviously since Wakanda opened up, they've got a shit ton of vibranium. A very important, a very good metal to have.
Yeah.
We can use this to take the surface.
No, I would... Namor is the number one guy I want.
I want I would love it now that I'm thinking about it. Namor and Atuma. Atuma is the legitimate villain, but he pin Black Panther and Namor against each other for the first part of it.
So I'm gonna throw out one more for Black Panther.
Okay.
This is a personal one that I don't think we'll get. Kraven.
I was gonna say Batroc the Leaper.
No, I want Kraven the Hunter.
Yeah,
Because yes, Ryan Coogler wanted Kraven for Black Panther 1, but apparently Sony, as I'm reading here, Sony kind of got rid of those plans because they own the rights to all of the Spidey villains. And now that Spider-Man's doing so well, I kind of feel like Marvel could maybe flex its muscles a little bit and say, hey, look at what Spider-Man's doing. You like having him over here. It's filling your pockets just as much as it's filling ours. Why don't we fill our pockets more? Let us use Kraven and Black Panther too. And that could be something then we're setting that up for a Spidey one as well. The only question is with Kraven, if he does not kill T'Challa, because basically it would be he is hunting T'Challa. He is hunting the Black Panther. Is like his motive. If he doesn't succeed, what then brings him to hunt Spider-Man?
As much as I like that, like you said, because of the crossover stuff right now, it's probably not going to happen.
You're getting giddy. What
I
are
am
you
getting giddy
about?
So I thought of one of two things. So the beginning first, and then kind of starting to do this again with hey, this is the first act. It's going to be one of two things. Him taking the throne back from M'Baku.
Okay.
Or you brought up Helmut Zemo.
Yeah.
After 5 years, Helmut had to have escaped.
Say that again?
He's in captivity right now.
Yeah.
From before the snapshot, he's in a captivity. I'm going to say he had to escape somehow.
Within those 5 years.
Within those 5 years. And he wants revenge on T'Challa for letting him live.
Yeah. When Zemo wanted to kill himself.
Yeah. He's like, okay. And he's going to maybe go full Baron von Zemo with the purple mask.
That's what I really want.
And what would be cool, and this is like, it's all just first act. This is like, hey.
And for basically.
I'm going to say throwaway villain. It's not going to be actually like he kills him off, but.
And get this, crossover to a Disney Plus series we're going to talk about in 2 seconds. He sees Bucky being Bucky, and it's like, what did you do to my prize? What did you do to my Winter Soldier?
Yeah.
To where then he hates T'Challa even more.
Very true.
He finds out
you ruined my plan.
He finds out some way that T'Challa healed Bucky.
Yeah, and like you got rid of my one chance of like getting revenge on all this shit.
Yeah,
but
that would be cool.
Like, you got rid of my revenge because I wanted to take out Iron Man and Cap. I wanted them to like take each other out, not this. Tony goes out in style.
And the thing I like about it too is.
I had that off.
Even if that's the case, you can still have Namor be a secondary villain.
I always have Namor be like the main thing, and like have this
Zemo be the secondary.
Have Zemo be almost like, I want to say the throwaway, but you don't have to kill him off.
Yeah.
Have it like the beginning of the movie where it's already in the action where he's hunting down Zemo because it's like the son of a bitch got out.
Yeah.
And Zemo's hunting him, vice versa, and that's just part of the first act. First 30 minutes of the first act.
Kind of like, I just want to, I don't even know what I'm
sort
doing.
of think of the first part of Age of Ultron.
Yes.
Where they're already in the heat of something.
Right. Yeah.
And he's going after each other. And here's my favorite part. he goes to draw that sword he's known to have. T'Challa goes to, like, because you think he's just going to swipe the sword and cut the blade.
And it doesn't even scratch the sword.
Doesn't cut the blade. It's not vibranium, though.
Okay.
It's adamantium.
Because they can use adamantium because they have the X-Men race.
Exactly.
Holy shit, Wolverine!
We brought in adamantium. It's already in the universe now.
And then we can see adamantium versus vibranium for the first time in a movie.
And it just goes,
holy crap.
Shink.
Holy shit.
And T'Challa's just like, why didn't this cut through?
Yeah. And then he doesn't know, like, he doesn't have vibranium. It's because Zemo got the adamantium.
And he goes, and then you can't have that conversation. What is this metal you have? I got my hands on some adamantium.
Or I got some tricks of my, like, they wouldn't just say that. It's like,
oh yeah,
I've got some tricks of my own. Basically saying vibranium isn't the only toughest metal on Earth anymore.
Here's how I would see it. So they're standing there. He draws the claws and say, just come with me willingly. You have nothing that can help you now.
Yeah.
He's like, I got a few tricks of my own. He comes running at him.
And pulls out
claws
the sword.
out. The sword comes out, goes like that. And the claws just go chink.
Talking about Ronin style? Like how Ronin had it in the movie?
But not like this. It's just like he draws the sword and holds it sideways to catch the claws as they're coming down.
More like a kink.
It could be like this too, but I just feel like it'd be his style.
I'm just thinking like this. It's like the strongness of the arm. I would have more leverage like this. Like to hold.
I just feel like it's his
back.
style.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
I'm saying stylistically.
His arm's probably tougher than mine, but that's just an awkward
I was just say
position.
stylistically, he goes across him. He like pulls the sword, goes across himself, catches T'Challa so he can push upward and just go. And when T'Challa goes like that, just like you said, doesn't not have to say that. He goes, "Vibranium is not the only tough metal, or vibranium is not the only strong metal in this world."
So here's the last thing I want to kind of get into.
Yeah.
Because movies are now aside. Disney Plus series.
Yes.
The first one I want to mention is Wanda Vision. And the reason why I'm bringing up Wanda Vision is apparently Elizabeth Olsen has given us kind of a little bit of a thought process of what it is going to be. Let's see if there's an exact quote. So per Variety, I'm just going to read this. So per Variety, Olsen recently teased WandaVision by revealing that the Disney Plus series will take place in the 50s. This information is based on the streaming platform's live chat, with Olsen noting, and here's the quote, "There's quite a few other comic books that we're pulling from, and it's going to be Wanda and Vision. They showed us a photo of us in the 50s. For WandaVision, Captain Marvel co-writer Jock Schaefer will serve as the writer, producer, and showrunner. She also co-wrote the upcoming comedy The Hustle with Rebel Wilson and Anne Hathaway, along with the upcoming MCU film Black Widow, starring Scarlett Johansson in title role. As for Olsen's WandaVision co-star Bettany, he previously received a Saturn Award nomination for a supporting performance in Age of Ultron. Most recently, he portrayed Voss in Ron Howard's space western Solo, a Star Wars story. So, yeah, this is from about, 3 days ago as we're recording this now. What are your thoughts, first off, on that? Because we have 3 Disney Plus series now to get through. Your first thought on that WandaVision, first off that name, WandaVision, being placed in the 50s, does that mean this is going to be an alternate reality type thing and Endgame doesn't touch it?
That's what I would have to think is it would have to be that way because, I mean, why would it take place in the 50s? I mean, that doesn't make sense. So I would have to think it's the alternate reality, or they just said that, and it's like, yeah, one of the storylines kind of plays with a 50s aspect type thing for some reason.
If it plays with Endgame, I just want to throw this out. Not saying they do this, just want to throw it out there. Another thing that we learned is that apparently, pardon me, got the hiccups all of a sudden. apparently this is another article on it. It's going to start filming this fall and will be 6 hours long. So the series in total will be 6 hours long. So what's that? If it's half hour episodes at the least, that means what, 2 for every hour? So that's a 12 episode series. That means 12 episodes of the 50s. What I'm thinking of, if they're going to tie it into Endgame, let me know what you think of this nugget.
Yeah.
So they rebuild Vision. Shuri finds a way
To fix
finish
Vision. Rebuilding him.
And Wanda and Vision go, we can't live in this world. Well, Wanda finds out from the other X-Men because she says, how did you bring us back? They find out how they did it.
Avengers?
Yeah. She asked.
You said X-Men.
No, X-Men. Because I'm thinking in my head that she should be an X-Men. But she asked the other Avengers, how'd you do it? Just naturally. And finds out what they did. Well, what if her and Vision go, well, I don't want to live in this world. Let's go somewhere. Let's just go somewhere, not mess with anything. And they use the quantum realm like Cap did. And they
send themselves back.
Send themselves to the 50s, and they live out in the 50s, and it's them living in that timeline.
It's interesting. I'm just wondering where you
That's
get,
if they
where you
tie
get
it
your story.
into Endgame. Like, they don't have to tie this one after these details. They don't. This one sounds like it's probably not tied into Endgame at all.
I'm just wondering if instead, like, I don't know.
Like, how do they get to the 50s?
I would hope they would.
Like, how do they get to the 50s, though?
I know.
That's the question.
I would like, and I'm just wondering if the 50s is the full thing, or if the 50s is just like a one-off
episode,
1 episode, 1 to 2 off episode story arc.
Because it's just a photo.
And it doesn't. Yeah, it's just a photo. It doesn't mean like. It doesn't necessarily mean hey, we are stuck in the 50s or we went to the 50s. It could be something just dressed like they're in the 50s.
Yeah.
We don't know. It could be a one-off episode where they do jump back because now that's in the universe. And end up like
quantum realm stuff you're talking about?
Quantum realm stuff for like just to throw it in there and like something happens in the 50s. Maybe cameo with Cap or something.
True.
Or something.
But you're saying so with the Disney
I really hope
Plus,
they tie it in with the rest of the MCU.
Do you hope all the Disney Plus series are tied into Endgame?
I kind of do.
Okay.
Or just in general, just in the MCU. I want it to tie in with the MCU.
Because, like, jumping over to Loki,
Yeah.
is now the Loki TV series going to be the Loki that we saw escape in the alternate timeline?
I feel like it is.
Where now it's like instead of him going to different time periods, it's going to be him going to different places in that timeline, messing with stuff, messing with this alternate reality that was created because of the mistake in Endgame.
And because he's got it, it's going to be like from
because the question was never answered.
Yeah,
like they left that loophole just wide open.
And maybe they left it open for Disney Plus, the Loki series. And what would be cool with that is, start off right then and there. He takes it and start off wherever he lands, all bounded up and everything.
Yeah,
with the Tesseract
and the thing around
on his mouth and everything. Have him like land there with the Tesseract and make it like I would make the storyline. I don't remember how many episodes it's supposed to be.
Because he can't go through time. He can just jump to different.
He can
parts.
jump space.
Yeah,
and it's not like he's going to age much throughout the series, and it can stretch from 2012 to whenever.
Yeah,
I would make the first of it, make it like, remember, like I said, Thor's got to clean up his mess between Avengers and Thor the Dark World.
Yeah.
Make it that. Everything he's fucking up. Jumping around with the Tesseract. Do.
But here's the question I have, and this is, yet again, this time stuff is just, you get so confusing. So, that happens. A branch was created there.
Yeah.
Would the Dark World thing still be the same on that branch? So would Thor still have to fix his stuff, or because he's no longer in the main branch? Would that mean in the main branch, the Dark World that we saw wasn't the main branch Dark World. It was the second one, but it has to be the main branch because that's where Rocket and Thor went. As my hands are now crossing.
Yeah. I'm going to say
it does, like, that part confuse, like, and of course, with all these Marvel things, it's like, fuck it, it just works. Like, they don't explain it. Like, fuck it, it just works.
I think it's just going to kind of work itself out because, I mean, like I said, between Avengers and Thor, Thor's got to clean up Loki's mess.
Yeah.
So I feel maybe that's where that all comes down to. Like I keep saying.
Because interesting enough,
the only thing that really messes up now is
doesn't that mess up Infinity War?
No.
Because he's no longer in our timeline.
He dies in Infinity War.
Yeah, but he
doesn't die before that.
Yeah, but if Loki, so we're in our original timeline that leads up to where we were in Endgame.
Uh-huh.
If Loki disappears, he's not there to die in Endgame.
Doesn't mean he's not there at that point anymore. He's just not there right now. He's not there in 2012. Doesn't mean it messes up the rest of the timeline.
You know what?
100%.
Maybe it doesn't create a branch.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, maybe
that's what I was saying. Is it kind of just
it doesn't create a branch because we're not taking Loki out of if we brought him
You're not taking him out of the universe. You're not taking him out of the full equation.
To our time, so that's why it would mess up. Okay. So it's just him, like, instead of him being captured, he's somewhere else in that path.
Yeah.
Okay. Now I get it. Now I get it. This time stuff. Like, Back to the Future taught me something that apparently was not real.
Exactly.
That Hulk told me was not real. The last one I want to ask you about, because this is the one I'm thinking. So, Falcon Winter Soldier, I am really hoping now that this is basically post-Endgame. Falcon is Captain America. We get to see him with the shield and everything. And it's him and Bucky basically being the buddy cop.
Yeah. No, that's what I want to see.
It's, hey, Endgame ended. Falcon is now Captain America. And you know what would be so cool? Like, so awesome? Is at the end of the series, Falcon goes, fuck it, man. I can't do this anymore. And Bucky takes on the mantle.
That's what I want to see.
Because I originally, when he handed the shield to Falcon, in my mind, I was seeing, I want Bucky to be the Cap. I want the Bucky I want is the one that, and this is because of the first Cap. I was stupid. And the first Cap graphic novel or comic that I ever read was volume 2 of the series where Cap dies and then Bucky takes on the mantle and then Cap comes back. I read volume 2 first because I'm an idiot. Didn't understand how comics worked apparently. But I dove into it and I was like, wait, this is not Cap. Why is he? It's Bucky? Bucky's Cap? This is weird. Like, I was thrown off by it. But because that's the first one I read, I want the Bucky that is Captain America's shield, star on the arm, like the red star, not red star, but like the Captain America logo that he has on his arm, because Bucky Barnes is now Captain America.
Yeah, you know what? I would like to see that. I want to see the series where the two of them are buddy copping, and he goes at the very end of it and goes, I'm not the super soldier.
Yeah.
I'll join you in your fight, but I can't be Captain America. I physically can't be Captain America. I do what he does, but slower.
Yeah. Which I am hoping, though, that takes off right after Endgame. That it's not a different point in the timeline. That it's these two guys together.
I hope it's after Endgame, all that stuff, and I hope it's not like a separate from the universe thing.
I hope it's them dealing with their shit, too. Cap, what do we do without Cap? They're both wondering, what do we do without Cap?
Bickering like siblings.
Basically.
Kind of like when what was it? Oh, Winter Soldier, where no, that'd be Civil War.
Yeah.
Where he goes, can you move your seat up? No.
No.
And Bucky goes, Sam's driving, hey, can we stop here? No.
That's how it might be at the beginning.
That's how I want it to be, like the first 3 episodes as they start weaning into being partners.
But also they have to learn what to do without Cap actually being there.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think anything that we missed with this. No Disney Plus series. I don't think. the only one I'll ask, and this is just a question, is so Black Widow's a prequel, basically.
It's
right?
gotta be,
unless it's coming out before Guardians 3.
yeah. So it's gotta be some sort of prequel.
So it's gotta be a prequel,
unless it's her in the soul world.
Unless it's her in the soul world, which
I don't know where that's
not
gonna
like.
play into.
I want a prequel. I basically want what that.
Give me the Red Room.
Oh yeah, I want that. What that Jennifer Lawrence movie? What was it called? Red Sparrow.
Yes.
Yeah. I basically want that, but better. Because
I've never seen it, so I wouldn't know.
That was basically, we saw the trailer and it was like, oh, it's Black Widow, but just give me Black Widow.
Yeah.
So basically, give me how she became Black Widow.
Give me her as a child, and then taken into the Red Room, taught in the Red Room, put out on the world, and then end it with meeting Clint.
So another thing too, Budapest. We get Budapest at the end.
Yes.
Or would Budapest have to be its own movie?
I think Budapest would have, unless they did a prequel where it's the
them
story
getting
of
ready
Budapest.
They would do that. Like, it ends with them getting ready for Budapest. You ready to go to Budapest? Cut.
Buddy cop film of them getting ready for Budapest.
Yeah, because
no.
They're wait. Let me talk. Because Marvel's never going to give us Budapest. They teased it. They teased it during Endgame, and then they're going to tease it during the Black Widow movie. Go.
Okay, we do what we originally said. Have it like before Red Room, stuff after Red Room, meet Hawkeye, and then they're getting ready post-credit scene.
Yeah,
because they can do that in the Black. Yeah, it's a movie, so they can do that.
It's no longer Endgame, so
yeah.
they can.
They could go back to post-credit scenes.
Yeah.
Make it her and Hawkeye getting ready for a mission, and he goes, "You ready to go to Budapest?"
Basically.
Yeah.
And then they never give us Budapest.
Never give us Budapest.
I would actually really enjoy that joke of like, we're just going to mention Budapest.
We're going to just
never
bring up
Budapest
as much as possible.
So you want to know something funny, Johnny? So total on the recording, do you want to know how long we've talked?
Too long.
Way too long. But right now we're sitting at an hour, 11 minutes, and maybe like 6 of those minutes might have been like the gibberish beforehand. So think about this. The Avengers Endgame review was like an hour 45-ish. This would have tacked another hour 10 almost onto the end.
We would have
been
longer than the movie.
It would have been near close to longer. It would have almost been the same runtime as the movie if we did this segment in the review like I originally planned.
Yeah.
We would have had a 3-hour podcast. On top of because then we would have had to replace this with a different segment. I'm kind of glad we did it this way.
Yeah.
And kind of broke them up. It's kind of like a part 1, part 2 almost to our review.
So how does this affect everything else?
Anything else you think we were mentioning?
I want to see how this affects the new season of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. coming out. It's supposed to come out this month. Or it was already supposed to have come out. Because it's
got to affect it.
It has to, because they always
play into it. Yeah. I mean, and that's kind of something too of like, I'm trying to think if there's any other movies we missed of like, yes, it's going to affect us. But I don't think so.
No,
like,
not.
We had no other loose ends left open for movies that are coming
I can't think
out.
of anyone else that like we need stuff for right now.
Yeah, because Thor
4,
Well, we got to see Guardians 3 first.
Exactly. See what that's going to happen because he's in that right now.
Yeah, but this is where you guys come in. Let us know what you think down below in that comment section. How do you think if Endgame is going to affect anything else that we see from the movies coming after Endgame and the Disney Plus series? Let us know what you guys are thinking down below in that comment section.